Shout outs to BABATV. Black Power.
Man, BABATV, man, it's lit. Man, y'all check it out right now on YouTube. Subscribe to
BABATV. Black Power.
Peace, love, and light. It's your brother Sankofa, representing for the HOK. Shout out to BABATV, which you know is fire every time. I want to thank my comrade, my friend, you know what I'm saying, for giving me yet another opportunity to come on the platform and speak my mind and address topic matters that I feel is relevant and critical for the edification of black people. What I want to specifically talk about today, family, is fake woke folk. Yes, fake woke folk. Now, I ain't going to be long, but in the words of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, you know I got to be strong. So I want to talk about fake woke folk. What is a fake woke folk? And what are some of the negative antics that they participate in that are having negative ripple effects in what is called the conscious community? Yeah, fake woke folk. Basically, people who, you know, are knowledgeable. I'm not saying that people who are fake woke have no knowledge, okay? But a lot of times when you're a fake woke folk, the knowledge you use, instead of helping, healing, and repairing that which is damaged, broken that which is fixed, and bringing together that which was made asunder or divided, what they do is they use this knowledge to grandstand. There's a lot of egotism, you know what I'm saying, in their attitudes, in the way they address their disagreements about the viewpoints, the ideologies, or the opinions of others. Yes, a lot of times fake woke folk would use information and knowledge that specifically for the cause of black advancement is supposed to do us a service. And what a lot of fake woke folk do is the opposite of that, which would be a disservice to the advancement, the edification of black people. Okay, there's a brother by the name of Ajay Tiamba. You know what I'm saying? A brother who I have a lot of respect for. He's been on the HOK a couple of times. Very intelligent brother. That's a brother who I say, you know, we should hear more of, because he has a lot of critical and very important points that he puts on the table and he dissects. And he made a very good point about the 6 different types of conscious people. You know, we use the word consciousness a lot. I mean, it's to the point where the word consciousness has become a joke to some people. They don't even want to be associated with the word consciousness or with the word conscious. And what conscious means, basically, in essence, is to be aware of and to respond to the environment around you. But for consciousness, for us, it has to be a consciousness that is going to uplift us, uproot the ignorance of what was psychologically imbued in our minds through psychological colonialism, intergenerationally, a consciousness that is supposed to break the shackles off of our minds. That's what consciousness means, because consciousness can be used and put in perspective for many different things for different reasons. But when we say consciousness, those who advocate for the causes of advancement for black people, a fallen part of humanity that we're trying to raise back up, we say consciousness in a sense where we were sleeping mentally, we are spiritually enslaved, okay, and we are psychologically shackled, and this consciousness is supposed to be a tool in which is supposed to reverse those effects, okay? Now, my brother Ajay Tiamba profoundly broke down the 6 types of conscious people. You know, and it makes sense to me. I have to agree with his breakdown. He said that you had your soldiers, You know, the people who are frontliners, boots on the ground, very well connected. They know a lot of people in the community, well respected in the community. You know, not always agreed with by everybody. That's inevitable. There's always going to be people that disagree and people in different paths. But you have your soldiers, right? Shout out to the soldiers. You also have your cliques, okay? You have your cliques and your cultic type leaders. Your cliques are people who are, they really isolate themselves from the rest of the community, because if you're not a part of their clique, they really don't rock with you. You know what I'm saying? They're very isolated. They're kind of cultic. You know what I mean? And personality type worshipers. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe of certain people, an individual. They can't listen to nobody else or learn from other teachers because they're loyal, you know what I'm saying, to their circle, their teacher or teachers and their little clique. You know, so you have your soldiers, you have your clique, 6 types of conscious people. We're talking about fake woke folk. And it's all going to connect. So you have your soldiers, you have your cliques and your cultic type leaders. You also have your cynics. You know, people who assume the worst in everything and everyone. You know what I'm saying? They usually have no independent program. You know what I'm saying? And they're just really there to critique or to find fault in you and see what angle they can come in to try to disprove you. Or see what they can prove wrong in your information, but they really don't put in any work, don't have any independent program, no local objective, no point platform, anything. And they're really not even interested in it. They're just here to critique you and prove you wrong because they're cynics and they're very apathetic. So you have your soldiers, your cliques, your cynics. Then you have what you would call your grandstanders. You know what I'm saying? Which is basically those with an obsession of being seen or heard. You know, they do this like they're doing it for TV, because they are. You know what I'm saying? It's just a constructive critique, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my true ones out there. This is for those whose shoes this fits. Those is for who this dashiki fits. If the dashiki fits, nigga, wear it. Okay? So you have your grandstanders. You know what I'm saying? They do things just for credit, to be seen. They do things so they can get credit and reap the benefits, or what they perceive as benefits, because they got credit, you know what I'm saying, for doing something that is supposed to look like a great and noble cause that was supposed to be selfless and for the benefit of others, but it's really done in the backdrop in their mind for their benefit or for the credit of themselves, okay? You also have what is called your conscious cheerleaders. Okay? And when I say cheerleaders, this is not just to the women who may be cheerleaders. It's also to the brothers, also to the men who may be the cheerleader type. You know what I'm saying? And some of the characteristics that they exhibit is that they're very impressionable and easily led or misled. You know what I mean? And then you have your sophomores, you know, who tend to be somewhat younger in age or young in consciousness. They may even be older in age, but found an attraction to black liberation ideology or knowledge or metaphysics or whatever school of thought that they are in. And they're relatively young to the knowledge or new to the information. You know what I'm saying? But they think they know it all. I mean, they got a little information and they have this insatiable zeal and drive, whereas they want to impact everybody with the knowledge. You can't tell them nothing, and they already think they know it all and only been conscious for a few months or 1 or 2 years or even 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And the plot thickens nowadays because with these 6 different characteristics or types of conscious people, soldiers, the cliques, the cults, the cultic types, the cynics, the grandstanders, the conscious cheerleaders, and the sophomores, the plot thickens because nowadays we have social media. That's right. With technological advancement, and the invention of YouTube, Facebook, and other mediums, people who are not really seasoned to teach, not even really qualified to teach, don't have any kind of, you know, pensfulness or tactfulness or real sincerity to the knowledge in which they claim that they're professing, have a voice now. So what happens is you have a lot of people who are fake woke folk, because now being conscious is a trend. It's trendy to kick knowledge. Not for everybody. Once again, shout out to those who are true blue. Shout out to those who are real on this, real in the field and firm on their square. You know what I'm saying? Because we all have flaws. I'm not saying anybody who has a flaw or who have made a mistake is fake woke. No, this has a lot to do with character, objective, and agenda on people's behalf. You know, you have a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, who are fake woke folk. You know what I'm saying? For instance, social media, everybody's a teacher now. Everybody's a scholar now. All you got to do is Google a little bit of information, all right? Have a little bit of charisma with you. Step up your vernacular. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are very good at that. They speak with confidence, very good vernacular, and they're very entertaining. I watch some of the brothers and sisters who are on their channels who, you know, who express the information or convey the information that they're standing upon to the people. But one thing I noticed that is a mark of a fake woke folk is that they're never really teaching to edify and to advance black people. They may say they are, but you'll notice that all they do is go at other black people. They're looking for a flaw in your teachings. They always want to try to prove you wrong. They're not talking about the greater enemy, and they damn sure ain't talking about no strategy because they usually don't got one because they're fake woke. So their time and commitment and attention is more geared towards focusing on going at people who are Pan-African or going at people who are into comedic science, or going at people whose ideology they just disagree with. They're nationalists. You know what I mean? So therefore, I'm going to spend most of my time and make a whole bunch of videos about how Pan-Africanism has done nothing for the black people. And, you know, a lot of times people are using their sound bites and their times and all that for that instead of, you know what I'm saying, using knowledge for its intended purpose, which is to advance, to evolve, and to transcend us beyond where we're at. We're dying out here. We're losing on every level. I believe we can win. That's why I stand on this to the end. And I'm going to die. And I'm going to ride till the wheels fall off. Flaws and all. You know what I'm saying? Because I love my people more than they hate themselves. And I will be a sacrificial lamb or sacrificial panther for the greater good, or for the cause and the greater good. You know what I'm saying? Of the people. For the betterment of the people. Now, see, what happens with fake woke folk, they get a little bit of information and they just want to attack. They're straight attack mode. There's nothing, no smoke for the opposition and no solution for those who are in need. Just a channel, imagery, and sound bites. And a lot of it is very negative, anti-revolutionary, and counterproductive. A lot of lying and conniving over much pseudo and lackluster type information. No objective, no real facilitation for the advancement of black people is what you're going to hear in a lot of these people's channels. Not everybody. And once again, shout out to those who keep it trails. All right. You know, there's, you know, where are the core moral principles? You know what I'm saying? Where is the work, integrity principles and the definitive goals? These are the things that distinguish those who are fake woke with those who have a real concern for the advancement, the improvement, and the betterment of black people. You know what I'm saying? What plans and avenues are in constant rotation and evaluation to accomplish this? I'm not saying not to critique nobody's information, because a lot of this crazy information out here definitely ought to be critiqued. Definitely. There's no doubt about that in my mind, because some shackles need to be broken. Some things do need to be addressed, and our journey towards advancement or psychological liberation. You know, okay? Being African-centered is an idea and an ideology that suggests that consciousness has to precede liberation. Consciousness has to precede liberation. You know what I'm saying? This is a fact. So when the difference between a fake woke folk and a person who's real, even no matter, regardless of what level they're on, everybody evolves and advances in different stages at different levels. There's different maturity levels in this. There's different types of conscious people. You know what I'm saying? So what we have to really, what really, okay, distinguishes those who are real from those who are fake is the substance and what they're talking about. What is the end goal? What is the objective? It's easy to sit there and talk about what you disagree with. Because a lot of people are disagreeable people. We're a divided people. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to go at other people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us come up in environments around drama and chaos and gossip. So when you got a little bit of information and you know how to articulate a little bit of historical points or lack thereof, but you still know how to articulate it, what happens is, you know what I'm saying, you find yourself on a hamster's wheel of attack mode of other people's doctrine or other people's belief systems or ideologies, opposed to having that along lines where it's needed, but also on the flip side, some solution orientation. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, being conscious is good, but it's just not good enough. We all need to upgrade, myself included. We all need to upgrade. That should be the focus. We're going into a whole new decade. It's about to be the 2020s. We're going to be still talking about the Moors versus the Hebrews versus the Pan-Africanists versus the Kemetic community. Or are we going to have some kind of elevation in the quality of and the subject matter and the quality of the subject matters in which we address? Yes, you know what I mean? We need to be conscious, but we need to be conscious and more creative and articulate and upgrade ourselves and our message and the way we convey it to people, because our people are dying out there. There's a lot of people out there who really want to seek knowledge. They want to wake up. Our people out here, many of them are dying for information, but they get so confused when they turn on so many different YouTube channels and see so much infighting and division and chaos, and it's crazy. You're chasing them right back into the church. Because at least in church, there's a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood. They have unity in the church, and a lot of conscious people I know, and I'm cut from this conscious cloth. You know what I'm saying? Black nationalists. You know what I'm saying? Pan-Africanists. You know what I mean? Some of the most shadiest, funny style, disloyal, backstabbing, conniving, opportunistic, unorganized by choice type people I've ever met are people who do come from this fold. We got our work cut out for us. You know what I'm saying? But fake woke folk is definitely a mindset and a character trait that is becoming very prevalent in the community, and is giving a bad name to those who are sincere, to those who say they are a part of a real conscious community. You know what I'm saying? Not just a YouTube channel with somebody who has beef with another YouTube channel, and we label that a community, and then say the conscious community is divided, and we forget about all the sacrifices that real conscious communities, organizations, and movements have made. Key word, movement. If you're not moving, you're not in a movement. It's an action word. You know what I'm saying? Some people are not moving. They're moving their lips and their fingers at a keyboard. And not to say that there's nothing wrong with that. Dr. Jacob Carruthers said this, one of my favorite teachers. Love his work. Check his work out. He said black people are products of intellectual warfare. Black people are products of intellectual warfare. So we know that war is multidimensional. It's not just a bunch of insurgents with guns. War is also psychological. It is spiritual. It is political. It is economics. But because we are products of psychological colonialism and intellectual warfare, it is very imperative that we have teachers who combat that. Teachers who come with antithesis. Don't just talk about Pan-Africanists. We're not African. Give our people some solutions. Have an antithesis to the bell curve theory, for instance. Step your intellectual capacity up, broaden your scope of knowledge and your horizon for the greater good and the betterment of our people. Because a lot of it's playing out, and it is very sickening. Fake woke folk, it's crazy. It's time to wake up for real. And those who are woke, stay woke. Because a lot of people are getting burnt out in this community. And they're like, man, listen, I hear people that's been on this for years like, man, I'm ready to just fall back. I mean, I've had those feelings myself sometimes. We got to stay woke, and we got to stay fighting this good fight. You know what I'm saying? We got to remain a spoke in this wheel of inevitable revolution, as hard as it seems, as disheartening as it is. When you see how our people treat each other and deal with each other and act towards each other. I'm talking about conscious people. I'm talking about people who are aware or awoke, if you don't want to use the word conscious, because the word conscious has the cooties now. Conscious cooties. You know, we want to start to be able to attract people from different walks of life. You know what I'm saying? From the college campuses to the prison systems. You know what I'm saying? To people who are just good everyday brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, doing their thing, who know something's wrong but not quite sure what it is. Then they turn on the channels and see us, backbiting and backstabbing and beefing and banging on one another, you know what I'm saying, via social media. Most of the time, they never do it in person. It's a lot of bunch of talk, hot air and stuff like that behind the keyboard. A lot of people see that and they get turned off. You know what I'm saying? You enhancing their faith in Jesus because of the way we act sometimes. You know what I mean? So attracting people, you know what I'm saying, of different walks of life, we have to upgrade our character, our integrity, and our message so we can attract and inspire people from various walks of life and different fields of expertise. We want to start to attract or inspire judges, IT specialists, engineers of various sorts, doctors, nurses, scientists, chemists, biologists, geologists, anthropologists, accountants, financial advisors, economists, web designers, bankers, pilots. Sure, I can go on. Military scientists, martial artists, you know what I'm saying? And psychologists. Shoot, especially as crazy as we've become, we need some more of them revolutionary conscious ones. Sociologists, etc. Not just a bunch of cultish, conscious fan clubbers, you know, and YouTube warriors, lumpen proletarians, those who talk about the message, but those who are not really interested in liberation or the sacrifices that it will take to bring in stages of advancement. I would say advancement. Liberation is the ultimate goal and objective. We need to just focus on stages and steps, which I call advancement. A lot of times we're in our own way. And when I say we, I'm not speaking French. I'm talking about those who are supposed to be conscious. Woke folk who don't act woke because they're fake woke folk. Doesn't mean you don't have knowledge. Doesn't mean your information may not even be on point. But there is a time where we must critique ourselves. And this is just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I want to read something real quick in closing. Brother Huey P Newton. It's a little pamphlet, you know what I'm saying, I got called The Genius of Huey P Newton. The Genius of Huey P Newton. Oh, man, powerful book. A little something I want to check out. Where's the page at? Just bear with me, people. Okay, where's the page? I just had it on that page. Okay. Huey P Newton talks to the movement. Okay? Huey P Newton talks to the movement. All right? It says the movement. All right? The question of nationalism is a vital one in the black movement today. Some have made a distinction between cultural nationalism and revolutionary nationalism. Will you comment on the differences and give us your views? This is basically a person asking Huey P Newton on his views about the black movement. And this is Huey P Newton's response. This is Huey P Newton's response, okay? Very profound in my opinion. Huey P Newton. There are two kinds of nationalism. Revolutionary nationalism and reactionary nationalism. Fake woke folk. Revolutionary nationalism is first dependent upon people's revolution, with the end goal being the people in power. Therefore, to be revolutionary nationalist, you would by necessity have to be a socialist. If you are a reactionary nationalist, you are not a socialist. Your end goal is the oppression of the people. Cultural nationalism or pork chop nationalism. Huey's funny. He called it pork chop nationalism. Cultural nationalism or pork chop nationalism, as I sometimes call it, is basically a problem of having the wrong political perspective. It seems to be reaction instead of responding to political oppression. The cultural nationalists are concerned with returning to the old African culture and thereby regaining their identity and freedom. In other words, they feel that the African culture will automatically bring political freedom. Many times, cultural nationalists fall in line as reactionary nationalists. Huey P Newton, on his outlook on reactionary nationalists, cultural nationalists, which a lot of times translates into what I'm saying along some lines with fake woke folk, or people who have knowledge but don't really get it. You know, the whole purpose and function of what we acquire this knowledge for is to aspire to advance us, to liberate us, and to fight the fights that we have to fight on many levels, politically, academically, economically, spiritually, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So instead of being fake woke folk, we need to start taking this serious, because the opposition is not playing with us. Oh, they serious. And they let us know that on a regular basis. Only thing a lot of times we're serious is being not serious. We're serious about being not serious. You know, and our people have been asleep for a long time, and for people who have been asleep for a very long time, many times it is imperative that you shake them up in order to wake them up. There's not no one way to reach one demographic or type of black person, because we are not a monolithic people. So we need various different teachers along different lines with different skill sets, whether the message is about health, nutrition, politics, economics, so on and so forth. Some of the things that we need are some of the different people with different expertise in different fields of expertise that we need to attract to what we call a conscious community, and really build a tangible community. Not just a community that are fans on social media, you know what I'm saying, that only show up to come to events to root on who they agree with and to go against who they disagree with, and then we go on back home. Now, I'm not going to take the importance of intellectual discourses, or what you would call debates, off the table, because there is a place for that. But a lot of times we're getting stuck. You know what I'm saying? We're on the hamster's wheel, meaning we're going nowhere fast with the same old thing. And it's time that we upgrade, and that we advance, and that we become real revolutionaries within ourselves. Revolution means complete constructive change. There's a quote in the Bible that says, "My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge." My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, right? Well, I say to that, it's Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. I say this: what about those people who have knowledge, who always just want to destroy each other? So therefore, at that point, it's not, because there are those who are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, but what about those with the knowledge who are trying to destroy each other's? Trying to destroy other people with knowledge that they disagree with. It's no longer about just knowledge then, huh? It's about character, it's about integrity, it's about objective, it's about agenda orientation, it's about discipline. That's what it becomes about. Because a lot of times our people are not just destroyed for the lack of knowledge, we're destroyed for the lack of integrity, a lack of brother and sisterhood, and a lack of realness. So we got to stop being fake woke folk and wake up. Or we're aiders and abettors in our own demise. The opposition is not playing. They are well funded, organized, strategic, and they got plans for us. What is our counter plan? We need to stop playing and get serious. All right? Because the opposition damn sure are not playing, and they're definitely serious. All right? So that's all I wanted to do, is build with the family real quick about what was on my mind. Fake woke folks. Get right or get left, fall behind in this ever advancing and evolving world in which we live in. All right? We are the change that we're looking for. We are the Messiah as a collective. Our collective advancement is the Messiah that we're looking for. Right? So we need to really consider, reconsider, evaluate, and reevaluate before it's too late. Peace, love, and light, family. Black power.